Okay, so this is going to be a video about my top 15 lures for the post-spawn time. I got I got 2 worm rigs and a brush hog type rig. I got 2 jigs, 2 swim bait style baits, 2 top waters, 2 crankbaits, a swim bait, a hard swim bait, and a fluke style bait. First, I'm going to go with the uh, this is going to be for when these couple baits here are going to be for when the bass first get done spawning and they're first protecting the fry, when the males are protecting the fry and the females are trying to feed up. I'd use something like this here. This is a root beer, I call it a root beer orange jig with a root beer colored, it'd be a pumpkin colored crawl on it. I caught quite a few fish on this. You can see the head is kind of chipped up a little bit. I caught 4 on my birthday, which that's tomorrow, which should be today when I post this video. So that's the lure there. It's a good jig. I've caught quite a few fish on it during post spawn and also during the fall as well. It's a good color for ponds and stuff like that around here especially. Now this here is a jig. This is a hearts jig. It's got the heart chunk on it with the rattle. See the rattle there. Plus it's got the rattle inside the crawl on the hook. It's got like a flat designed head, which gives it a really good standing up in the water. It stands up like this here. It gives it really good standing up, and then crawls just float, and got a lot of action because of that thicker part there on the claw, and it gives it a lot of action. This is green pumpkin, and it's got some like black flake, and then on the back of it, it's got some like green. I don't know if you guys can see that there. Got some like green glitter on it. It's a good lure as well. I haven't caught any fish on it, but I believe that during the post spawn, I've seen people fishing with these during the post spawn and during the pre spawn as well, and they're good. A lot of people catch them. They got good rattles. I don't know if you guys could hear the rattles or not. The camera probably heard them a lot better than I can hear them. But the next lure I'm going to be throwing during the post spawn is this right here. This is a 3/8 ounce football shaky head. It's got like a screw lock right there. It's not very weedless so it'd be good for right before the grass gets on and gets to growing a lot. It's basically a Strike King game hog. It's not the Rage Tail game hog. It's just a regular Rage Tail, or it's just regular. It's not a Rage Tail game hog on a 3/8 ounce football jig head. I don't remember. I think it's called Lucky Strike or something like that is who made the jig head. So next I will be throwing a Texas rigged bullworm. Now this here is a Strike King bullworm. It's basically like a supersized trick worm. This here is 8-inch long, green pumpkin color trick worm. You can see it there on my arm. It's really good. I've caught all my bass this year on this worm, so it's good for pre-spawn, post-spawn, and I'd say it'd probably be good for when they're out deep in the brush piles and stuff like that. Now this here is the 10-inch long Rage Tail Thumper worm, and I got that in Okeechobee Crawl. I got 2 packs of 10-inch Okeechobee Crawl color. You can see it's got like these little bulb eyes, and it's like right on the line where the green pumpkin and the blue meet. And that gives it a lot of flash, that color does. And plus this tail, you can see it says Strike King there on the tail. Plus this tail's got the flat part on the end. It gives it a lot of flapping action as well. And this here is a Yum Houdini shad, is what it's called. I took the center out of the tail to give it a little bit more action to it. I got it on a weightless rig, 2-aught Gamakatsu 2-aught EWG hook, and it's white, and plus I got a little bit of chartreuse on the side, and plus there's a little bit on the tail. It's not very visible on the tail, but when I go fishing I'll put some more on it and stuff like that. So the next one I'm going to use is this here. This here would be a bait that I'm going to use before the grass really gets to growing, and before the grass really gets around the edges of the pond. This here is a Bass Pro Shops XPS, I think they call it, the Z9 perch. It's very good. It's the only hard swim bait I have in natural perch or something like that, color or something like that. But I think it looks really realistic going through the water. It looks really good. It looks just like the bluegill we have around here, and it's got a really good hook on it as well. It's got these plastic fins. I don't know if you guys can see that, how they bend when the fish hits it. It's also got that on the tail and the belly fins, as I call them, as well. There's like a down view of it. And then I have this here is a Z-Man chatterbait. It's a white color with silver glitter in it, and I got that rigged with a Zoom swimming fluke, the swimming super fluke. I got some red on the basically the base of the tail. I got some red on it. I believe it's 3/8 ounce or 1/4 ounce. I don't really remember. I bought it quite a while back, and I've caught a lot of fish on it since. Has a very good action going through the water, especially with that swim bait. And if you have a smaller pond where you don't really want such a big profile, I'll usually go down to a swim bait this size. You can see it's got a tremendous size difference between those two swim baits. This here is a Zoom Swimming Fluke Junior. I got that in white ice color. Next swim bait will be a Yum. I think it's called a Pulse, P-U-L-S-E swim bait. It's got a 3/aught weighted belly hook on it. I don't know what color this is. I really don't know what, other than the brand, I don't know what the swim bait is called or the color. I seen them at Walmart and thought that it would be a good color, a good swim bait for ponds and stuff like that. So I picked them up. The package, all the package says is worm. That is literally what the name on the package said. So I have no clue. It's obviously not a worm, but that's what the package that I got from Walmart says. So if any of you guys know exactly what these swim baits are, or what the name of them, or what the color is, you see that kind of a shield shaped tail. I don't know what the brand, or I do know what the brand is, and that's basically all I know. Now the next one I'm going to get is a crankbait. Now I throw square bills a lot more than deep diving crankbaits, mainly because I only fish ponds and very few lakes. This here is an Excalibur XCS 100 series. Yeah, it's in green crawl color. It's a square bill, as you can see. It's got like these red eyelets, red eyes on the back of it that give it a little bit more realistic look to it. It'd be really good around rocks, but most of the ponds around here don't have rocks. But I believe it'd be pretty good around rocks and stuff like that. But when them big females are looking for food to fatten back up, and when them males are protecting the fry, they think this here sitting there going across the water like that right there, going across them rocks, is a crayfish going to try to eat their fry or whatever. They'll hammer it. I caught 3 or 4 on it last year, and I got it at Walmart. They had a sale on these, and it's an Excalibur, which they don't sell them at Walmart anymore, but they had a sale on them where you could buy crankbaits like this here for $1 and $1.50. I got this one here for $2. Now the next crankbait is a Strike King 2.5. It's in chartreuse shad. It's a good crankbait. I caught a nice fish, 2-3 pounder around a dock with this same crankbait, and I basically just cast it along the dock and was reeling it kind of slow, and one came out from the dock. I seen him come out from the dock and hit it. It's got really good hooks. All Strike King baits really do have good hooks. A lot of people think you need to change out the hooks whenever you buy a new bait, but I've never changed out hooks on baits that are good, like these Strike Kings or Rapala, stuff like that. I use a lot more Strike King than Rapala though, mainly because they're a little bit more affordable and they're better quality. This here's the silent version, and so is that crawdad crankbait. That's a silent as well. Now, when we get back into the later spring towards the summer, towards the end of the pre-spawn, I'll pick up a popper like this. In a way, it kind of looks like a little phantom shad is what the color is called, but it looks kind of like a bluegill or something like that. And when it's popping across the top of the water, they think the males will be afraid that it's trying to eat their fry or something like that, and they'll hit it. I've seen a lot of people fishing pre-spawn with a little popper like this, and I got a feathered tail on it like all the poppers come with. It's got good rattles in it as well. The next lure is going to be this Rebel Frogger is what it's called. It's in brown bullfrog color. It's got very good rattles in it. And this here would be good for when the grass is not quite up to where you can use something like this here. To where the grass is not up enough to use this, but their frogs are still hopping around and stuff. You can use this, and this here's got treble hooks, and it does it's like a smaller version of a walking bait. It's just like a small profile walking bait, and you can see it next to that Z9 perch. It's not much smaller than that, but it's a very tight, compact walking bait. It'd be good for when them frogs first start coming out for the spring and the grass is not quite yet on enough to where you can use something like this. It'd basically just be defeating the purpose fishing this when there's no grass. I'd rather fish something like that there, or a popper. Well, that concludes the video. I'm thinking I'm going to do, the next video I'm going to do is talking about my frog rod and my other fishing rods. Either that, or I'm going to do another lure video about maybe the summertime fishing, which is when I do a lot of fishing. So if you guys have any suggestions for a video, or maybe videos about lures, or what my favorite lure is for a certain time, or maybe clear water lures or dirty water lures, put your suggestion down in the comments. Leave a like if the video is good. Thanks for watching.